This is gonna be my setup for 2026. Some things are the same, some things have changed. We're gonna be talking about everything in my setup today, including a rig situation that I've not had a rig for a couple, you know, I moved. I'm gonna walk you through everything I use for content creation, everything I use for playing games, and of course, the racing rig itself, which I actually built my rig for Gran Turismo, but I'm making a significant change to it for the foreseeable. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but I thought I'd invite you in on my little project going on here. There's a lot of unfinished projects. To the desk. This is the battle station, if you will, and some things have changed significantly, as I say, and some have not. This monitor here, my super ultra wide Samsung G9, not the newest one. This is the exact same one I had previously. I used to have two right here. Well, I've changed it to just one. I used to have two dedicated areas, one for playing and one for creation, but I've recently switched it to just being one. I say recently, it was a couple of years ago now, and everything is done here. The main screen is a normal gigabyte monitor, 4K, not OLED. I do really want an OLED, but I'm waiting for the LG OLEDs. Come on, LG. My now 10-year-old side monitor, which is literally from Dell. This is a 1440p, I think it's 75 Hertz monitor. And straight away, some of you may have already noticed, this is not a PC. A couple of years ago, I made the decision to switch over to Mac OS, and I know that sounds insane. It is not something I ever intended to do, and it's not something that I would actually recommend to most people, especially if you're doing one machine. I clearly don't have one machine because that's a little bit easier to capture and do my job. The basic review here is that is an M2 Max processor powering my Mac Studio. I actually have the exact same M2 Max available in my MacBook, which was the first kind of tiptoe into that world. MacBooks, you know when people say stupid stuff like, oh, if you're doing creative work, you need a Mac. That never used to be the case. I don't care what people used to say, they were terrible. As terrible as other Windows laptops, they would last about 5 minutes, they would replace them after a year. I now, someone that loves buying tech, has an M2 Max Ultra, an M2 Max laptop, which I am refusing to upgrade because they are so good. Apple, you made a mistake making those chips so good. They're not good for gaming. that's something that's tiptoeing in there, you know, Valve are doing some work there. But the efficiency of these chips, this Mac Studio desktop, this thing uses less power than my TV. It is mind-boggling, even on like full load, because most of the load that I'm using, I'm actually running using dedicated encoder chips. It doesn't use a CPU, GPU in a big way working on video creation. So this thing running all day costs me nothing. You could see the difference here in like, before it was like, I need a setup for this, I need a setup for this. Now it is all, everything is efficient as possible. Energy is expensive in the UK, but also less heat. Now the controls for the station, we've got the Turtle Beach keyboard. This was actually my rig keyboard, but I've been using this for a little bit. I've got the Apple trackpad. I've got the don't listen. I have actually 3D printed a replacement case for it, which I will be putting on at some point. I need to sand it, which I don't have any way to do that right now. If you've not used an MX Master, you might not realize, it's not just dirty, it is uncleanable, the rubber deteriorates. That's a project to deal with, but for gaming, I use my lightweight Turtle Beach Burst 2 Air. And of course, it is worth saying, you're gonna see quite a bit of Turtle Beach. Reason for that is I may be partnered with Turtle Beach, and you, of course, can get some pretty cool Turtle Beach gear by using my link down below in the description and using my discount code Black Panther. That's basically all running. Join us. Join us on the Turtle Beach side. Now, speaking of Turtle Beach, I'm literally gonna start this by saying, I don't like gaming headsets. It shows you gaming headset. Gaming headsets, I have never liked. I've always gone with headphones, actual headphones, and a dedicated microphone. That's the best way for when it comes to like a dedicated setup for recording and playing and everything. Headphones being headphones, great. I do not use anything else other than those at that desk. I edit at this desk, I play at this desk. I have not found a better pair of headphones than those Atlas Airs. And those aren't even the ones that they like tell me that those are the big ones. The big ones, of course, they want to show are these. These are the Stealth 700. They sound amazing for games. I like open back is the main thing. So the Atlas Airs, gaming this, Atlas ears for everything else. This is the microphone I've used for, oh God, I even know, years by this point. This is the Rode Procaster. I've completely forgotten, but it's been the same mic for a very long time. We've got some studio monitors, not to be confused with actual monitors. These are speakers, studio monitors, which are the Yamaha HS5s, and I kind of combined those two with this big boy, so ignore the cables, ignore the cables. As is obvious, I just moved, and everything is very temporary. Basically, the first thing I got going was the main setup itself. I couldn't create content without my main setup, so that's what I've done. This, of course, is my PS5 Pro, which then connects to a multi-point switch and splitter, and I've got all the bits. And of course, then here is my PC. This thing gets a lot of questions. This thing, of course, is a pretty small build. You can actually see the GPU barely fits, so I was pretty excited when this actually fit. This is a 4080 by Gigabyte. It's rocking a 9800X3D behind this massive cooler, and yes, these dials do work. I mean, most of the time. They are currently a bit stuck. My controller of choice is the Turtle Beach Stealth Ultra. This thing is beautiful. And do you remember the leaks back in the day of like PlayStation 4 gonna have a touchscreen type of thing? This thing has a screen on it that you can control by pressing this button and then toggling through kind of settings and what. It's pretty sick. And of course, because it's an officially licensed kind of Xbox controller, it works really well with even old PC games, because in this racing world, we play a hell of a lot of old games, so that's kind of useful. And here we have my Sony A7R. This is actually the original A7R. This is probably one of the oldest pieces on here that I kind of want to upgrade. This is just a mount for my teleprompter on the front, the Elgato teleprompter for when I use it. And all of those are kind of connected to, as you can see, a massive monitor arm that is not mounted to the wall. It is instead mounted to the desk because I am renting currently. And also, it's just, I much prefer it than mounting that big thing to the wall. This is just kind of a big softbox light. This is also a little Elgato light underneath. And so that is my main desk setup. A lot of it is, as I say, pretty similar to how it was last time. And for the most part, nothing majorly exciting. The big exciting part is, of course, the rig. Now you might be wondering, Theo, you haven't shown us that yet. Why have you not? Where's the rig? It's a recent chunk. As I said, making some changes to kind of adapt the rig to a bit of a smaller scale thing. You see, as I've consolidated down to kind of one setup here opposed to two like I did previously, it kind of crossed my mind that I don't really want to, again, set up a whole rig with extra monitors just unnecessarily. Like, I don't like having to upgrade everything twice every single time. It's kind of annoying. I came across a couple of rigs that are like fold together, push together, things like that. I mean, I measured it out and I was like, these are exciting and I really want one of these. But then I realized I really like my rig, but they're really adaptable. And so maybe I could make my rig work with this. So that's my project. I don't know how long this is gonna take, but I need to get it up and running and working today so that I can play Gran Turismo when the update comes out, because I need to be doing some of them 24-hour races, you know what I'm saying? That, and I just missed using the damn rig. I need to get on the rig. I need the rig. So that is one of my big projects that I'm gonna be starting right now. Oh, and also, if you've seen any of my videos recently, depending on when time of day I'm recording, it is basically, the exposure is insane. And so I have bought a tube of window tint and I'm gonna tint the windows. That's my solution. I don't want any, these lights are too bright as is. I'm tinting the windows, okay? I haven't actually checked if this tint is correct. We're just gonna see. This may be too dark. Let's find out. That might not be too bad. See how I get on putting window tint on. Tinting windows is difficult, okay? Or if you are wondering what these are, just kind of dotted around, they're not mounted yet. They are just sound kind of deadening because there's quite a lot of reverb in this room, so I've kind of tried to reduce it a little bit. You probably noticed it improved a little bit. I need a few more. I really do. All down here is basically all the rig stuff and also a lot of things that were in the drawers, but I had to empty them to move. This is my retirement fund, if you know anything about the recent discourse of RAM. This is chaotically organized. It's not just me randomly throwing crap everywhere. Don't worry. I know it's not really a sunny day, but let's see, how's that? Maybe a bit better, maybe. So the idea is, once I get the seat attached, I will just move this very light piece of equipment in and out of the way every time I need it. And I know there's a much more practical way to do this. There's lighter rigs and stuff, but I use direct drive wheels, and those use a lot of torque. They may snap something that is a little bit lighter. Anyway, put some wheels on it, and I'm good. And then I only need one setup. I do need to see how the camera positions and stuff, but this is the idea. Pretty cool. So what you've probably noticed is that, well, it's not built properly yet. However, I've created quite a bit of overhang on the rig. I've actually compacted it quite significantly in a lot of areas. For example, at the front, we've got quite a nice stretch. And the idea is I can cut those elements out, make it as compact as possible, and then be able to wheel this thing around in, out, as and when I need it. And the big idea is that you can do this. So the intent is the seat is all the way forwards. I can take off the wheel, hand unscrew a couple of bolts, which I might have to like 3D print some ways to do that. Yeah, so take the chair, place her down, and it's a more compact rig. Trust me, it's a good idea. Obviously right now it's sat on my desk, but the intent is pretty cool actually. So it folds over, kind of tucks over onto the wheel, and then you could also then lift the actual rig up or push it forward, I haven't yet decided, and be able to push it into a corner and not really take up very much space. As I said, this is a thing you can buy already, but this is a way of making my current thing work for the new thing, because I have less space. Basically, space efficiency, power efficiency, efficiency. And my wheel of choice for the PC is this, the Velocity 1 Race KD3 with its standard wheel, because I love road cars. This thing I absolutely love. I've got some dedicated content on it. The barrel or base here kind of lights up as well when you need to shift if the game kind of supports it. And it's just an overall really nice piece of kit, especially for the price. Again, I'll have a link in the description for this wheel exactly, but this is what I use when I'm doing a little bit of racing on PC or Xbox. So I can switch my light mode, get my lights enabled, get my camera enabled. I know it's in the corner. My intent is basically to get this to be the one setup that I need that just kind of does everything. Bring this mic closer so I don't have to use multiple mics that are different sounding. This is it. How sick is that? Anyway, as I said, this is an all ongoing project. This is what it's like. I like tinkering with this type of stuff, and ultimately I have fun with it. I also have to show this. This is, ignore the messiness again, situation of we're not currently in a permanent place. This is my current setup for the networking. All of this is a SSD NAS. This is a bunch of Unify ubiquity stuff. We've got a 10 gig switch for networking across. We've got a Mac Mini that manages all of the DaVinci Resolve projects, which is what I use to edit on. We've got Blu-ray rippers, so we can rip Blu-rays and store them on hard drives. We've got battery backup. It's all very exciting. Just, you know, disorganized at the minute. I'm also waiting for another 1U NAS, so this is my hub. This is where everything that matters is. So that's pretty much what we've got. The setup tour is essentially complete. It is a work in progress. As is usual, it is a work in progress. This is something that's always evolving, always changing, and that's kind of the way I like it. I'm finding new efficient ways to do things, and of course, repurposing where I can. I say that, I do like buying new things. Who doesn't like new tech? Come on. Anyway, I'll give you a proper update when I next buy a place, because I'm currently renting. This is all temporary. But it's like a weird pseudo-temporary, because it's like, I'm getting it how I want to be, just not in the right place. So the walls are gonna stay very bland.
You're funny. You're funny. Run!